Well, quickly, Visions of Mana. Is it worth my time?
Yeah, it's like a B-. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's better than most
decent.
of the games in the series.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So basically, the answer is like this
Looks
is the
pretty.
first good Mana game in like 30 years. So you know,
all right then, because I played a bit of the demo.
That's not a remake or anything. Yeah, it's good. It's good. It has flaws, no doubt, but it's decent. It's more than decent.
Gotcha.
Ooh, there's a lot of games in that fucking series, boy. Holy shit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Ooh. There's 15 Mana games.
Mario!
What to do, superstars? My name is Aaron. I have the world record for chugging antifreeze, and you're listening to Super Pod Saga. Yeah, that's right. It's Super Pod Saga. Hello, welcome. Yeah, take off your shoes, please. Leave them at the door. This is the podcast where we discuss a different video game topic each week with different guests. We're going to talk about every video game topic there is until there is nothing else left to talk about. Today is not one of those days, though. We're talking about the biggest video game flops, the big old wet farts. Or what is it, Andre? Wet butt?
Wet butt, yeah. If it controls like wet butt, it's going to be a flop for sure.
It's a bit of floppy wet butt.
Why is my controller all floppy now?
Before we get to that topic, let's introduce some guests. Two handsome recurring faces. We've got Andre and Thrak. Hello, boys.
Hello.
You can't get rid of me. I just keep showing up.
He keeps inviting me back for some reason. I don't know how this keeps happening.
Yeah, it was another night where I was like, I'm just going to sit here, play some games, chill out. And then Aaron's like, oh, guys, some shit happened. Could you just jump in? And I just went, sure.
I'm here for you, baby. And normally I would not be able to on this time, but it just so happened to work out. You asked me the right day.
Yes. Oh, man.
It's always good when Dre's here.
Thank you.
It is always good. We're probably going to talk about Pizza Hut and olives and all sorts of shit later on down the line. As
I had
tradition.
Domino's for dinner. I cheated on Pizza Hut today.
Damn. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
I had tacos for dinner.
Ooh,
nice.
Like from a taco place?
No, we made them.
Okay.
Yeah, homemade. Yeah, it was great. We had some leftover beef, and it's the cheese we use. It's like the Kroger brand, but it's like that quesadilla type of cheese, so it's a little bit thicker. Works really good in tacos.
That sounds good.
Oh yeah,
nice. Well, boys, go ahead and take turns introducing yourselves and talk all about your shows and the games you like, and let's talk about your favorite fast food taco.
Oh, my favorite fast food taco. Yeah. Man. So out here west, we have something called Del Taco. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that.
I think I've heard of it.
So it's obviously a Mexican American place, but you also have burgers and fries too. So you don't just have tacos and burritos and stuff. It's very interesting. It's a very eclectic menu, but it's good. So yeah, that's my go-to. I don't know if I have a favorite. I guess like the chicken soft taco at Del Taco. That's probably my go-to. It's very good. They have a certain sauce on it that's like very. Like I'm pretty mayo adverse, right? But this has like this feels like a mayo based sauce, but it's like the only one of that kind that I like. Yeah, dude, I am from the show Fine Time. I almost said the episode Fine Time. We have not named. You know what? We should do that one time. We should name one of our episodes Fine Time. There's no reason why not.
Or like the finest time, like the finest time the Fine Time has ever timed.
Games that are a fine time.
Games that are a fine time. That's always a good topic. Yeah, we talk about whatever we've been playing. Could be something old, could be something new, crappy, good, doesn't matter. We love to cover news. We just covered the state of play. We love to cover Nintendo Directs, stuff like that. And we like to play quiz games. So yeah, come have a fine time with us. It's just a good old video game time. 3 guys, 3 friends talking shit.
Fuck. I almost fucked it up. And then, what the fuck? How am I... Sorry, I'm tripping all over my fucking self.
Well, you were just on Fine Time talking about Grandia 2.
That's right. Yeah, I was.
It's a good episode.
I did not get to see the official Fine Time shower room, though. I'm real upset, but
Oh, sorry. That's for the three of us. So there's a special
Damn it.
soap and loofah and everything.
Yeah,
I've never invited a guest into the fine time shower, but maybe one of these days we can.
That's a sacred place.
Yeah.
I when I was on, I saw the steam coming out the door, but it said no guests allowed. So
Andre was like, "Don't look there! Don't look there!
yeah.
Don't look over there!"
Out of sight, out of mind. Yeah, man. We just have fun. We talk about whatever. We love to just shoot the shit and be casual about it. It's just I love doing the show every week.
Hell yeah, love listening to it. Speaking of things I love, hello Thrak.
Oh hey, Aaron, you doing okay, buddy?
Yeah, when I just put my holy fucking shit, I just put my youngest kid to sleep, and I always fall asleep a little bit in the process, so I'm still kind of waking up a little bit. And so I'm trying to slam the monsters that are always 2 for $3 because Casey's wants to give me cancer.
I have the Oreo Coke right now. I'm sipping on.
How is that?
Yeah.
We tried it on the air, just on the episode we just recorded. It tastes like Oreos. It's not bad. I thought it was going to be horrendous.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually not bad. I'm kind of okay with it.
Interesting.
I kind of wish I had the Coke Oreos.
Oh, yeah, those two. I haven't seen those, but the Oreo Coke, yes.
See, somebody needs to try both of them at the same time. See what happens.
That's
Just dip 'em
forbidden
in.
magic. That's forbidden magic.
We're here to break the laws of physics. So yeah, I guess my favorite fast food taco. See, the problem is outside of like Taco Bell, if I ever go to like Mexican places, they're usually more like the local places around me, and those usually make fantastic tacos. I'm trying to think. There is like a local fast food taco by me. Hold on. Let me look them up. But while I'm looking them up, I am the co-host of the 3DO Experience, which is me and Bill talking about the craziness of the 3DO. Aaron was just on it. I think we were talking about Samurai Showdown, but we talked about a lot of other stuff. We covered the state of play because I think it like just happened.
I can't wait to listen to that. I don't know anything about that port, so
yeah. So yeah, we do that, and then also I stream every Thursday, covering the Sega Genesis library. So you can head over to my Twitch at Thrak94 to check that out. Or if you can't make it, I put the VODs up on my YouTube channel at the same name, so you can go ahead and check that out as well. And yes, the fast food taco that I just saw, Victor's Taco Shop.
Victor's Taco Shop.
I would trust Victor with a taco. Sure.
Yeah, they're pretty banging. But as I always say, when you go into one of these like ethnic places, if I don't see a white person in the kitchen, I know it's going to be good.
Oh, that's a thing. That is definitely a rule.
Yeah, like I love getting Chinese takeout, and I would not trust that place if I walked in and there weren't like Asians who like barely spoke English. I'd be like, I can't trust it.
Come on, man. Come on. That's where the good shit is.
Exactly.
Why can't I just look at like pictures of the food? These websites always have like it'll be like order now, order online.
Yeah,
it's
you
like,
can't look at the fucking food anymore. Yeah, I've noticed that too. That pisses me off. Yeah,
nobody's hiring like food photographers anymore. It's crazy.
I'll fucking do it.
That sounds like a really fun job.
They do have a gallery, so you can go through there and look through their stuff. And
I'm
their
looking
stuff
at them, and
nice.
they do look really fucking good, dude. Like,
they're pretty good. Like the one I remembered, it was in a place called Fairborn, Ohio, which is close to where I live. But they've opened up a couple more, so I tend I tend to frequent them. They're pretty good.
I like how at the very bottom of their website it says powered by Menu Fee. And that sounds cool. Menu Fee.
Menu Fee.
Menu
like
Fee,
F-E?
the
sponsor of this episode.
Yeah, Menu Fee. No, so if you're looking at the gallery of their website, the very bottom right one, this like big fluffy taco shell, just just shit tons of meat and like shredded cheese and a big old lime wedge.
Oh yeah,
I could annihilate that right now, man. That sounds
so good.
Yes.
Wow.
They'll never know about this episode's existence, but shout out to Victor's Taco Shop.
Good on you, Victor's Taco Shop.
Please hire me. So my favorite fast food taco is, I'm going to try to keep it local. There's a local chain, or like a Midwestern chain, I guess, called Taco John's, and it's very like fast food tacos. They have fried chicken tacos. I think my favorite thing though is the Taco Bravo. It's like it's a hard shell taco hard shell taco inside of a soft shell, and there's like a layer of refried beans, and they stuff it full of meat and cheese and shit.
That's shit. I'm there.
You know a crazy story with Taco John's and me? The first time I ever heard the phrase Taco John, it was in this old ass video called Freddy vs. Jason 2. Where it starts out with this guy like sitting in front of like a TV playing hockey, and he's just like, the idea of a sequel would sound really good, but another movie of these like two titans who are fighting each other who can't be killed. This is pointless. There's only one way to settle this: Sportathon. And so they have them like play like basketball and football and all this shit. And when they would do the instant replays, they're like, that goes to our Taco John's instant replay. I thought it was fake. I thought Taco John's was a fake ass name, and then I learned later it's real. I'm like, holy shit.
The best thing ever is you got to look up the Taco John's Taco John's Nachos Navidad commercial from like 1999. It'll live in your head rent free forever. Just I want to wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart and from Taco John's.
Holy crap!
Feliz Navidad slaps. That might be my favorite Christmas song. It's so good. I love Feliz Navidad.
It's the most fun because a lot of them are just sad.
Yeah,
or just like really quiet, or they're like that Paul McCartney piece of shit.
Dude, come on!
Grandma got run over by a
care.
reindeer.
I'll defend cool. Simply Havin'. I
Grandma
love that
got
song.
brutally murdered by a reindeer.
I love Paul McCartney to death. I mean, when we do that music pod, I could do a whole episode on Paul McCartney, but like, it's not a great song.
I love how shitty the synthesizers are. It's so good.
Well, it was during his McCartney 2 record, which was all very like homegrown.
McCartney 2.
Yeah. I won't go into it.
That's fine.
Yeah, that album is amazing though. Like, holy crap!
Nah, dude, I love a Wonderful Christmas Time. I'm sorry, I do. I really do. That and Feliz Navidad.
We'll argue about it. We'll argue about it in the future.
Podcast?
If we get the Superpod jukebox off the ground, we will do an episode on Christmas songs.
That'd be fucking cool, man.
But I found the video. I'm gonna post it in the Discord.
What, of the Nachos Navidad thing, or
no, the Freddy vs. Jason 2.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So you can watch it later.
Aside from Taco John's, though, if you go to like any local Mexican place and get tacos birria,
Okay.
I don't know if I'm saying it right, but those are
birria.
little dipping sauce shit. Oh my god, they're so good, dude.
Yeah. I mean, I think most listeners know the show already since I've been on enough. I am from originally San Diego, so Mexican food down there was just, Jesus Christ, dude. So like I probably the best Mexican food you can get outside of Mexico, so it's just like, so when I went everywhere else, I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? But now where I live, there's pretty good Mexican food. It took a while, right? But so birria,
get there.
Hella good.
Fuck the Chargers, right?
Yeah, fuck them. I don't care. I'm just a Padres fan now. Fuck them. Yep.
All right. Well, let's get
what were we talking about again, Aaron?
well, before we get to that, listeners, if you love the show, make sure to leave us a rating/review on Spotify, wherever the hell you listen to us, because it really helps the show, and I love you. If you really, really love the show, support us on Patreon for $2 or $4 a month. Starting to roll out more bonus stuff, trying to do some like bonus B-sides and stuff like that. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Then if you really, really love the show, go buy some Bones Coffee with my link and all that stuff. Check out superpodnetwork.com. That's enough of that. Let's just get to it, man. We're talking about the biggest flops, big old games.
Floppy titties in my chest. What? Who said that?
Roll them back up.
Put them back in my shirt.
It's like in those cartoons where the cartoon character, their tongue just flies out and they have to like roll it right back up like a fruit by the foot. But like,
I love that. Yeah, bubble tape. You guys remember bubble tape?
Dude,
like
yes,
that.
I do remember bubble tape.
Yeah, it's like
crap.
that. Yeah.
There's always that one like really gross kid who would just take out the whole roll, take a bite.
Oh,
like,
that's so cursed. That is so cursed.
Very cursed.
That is so bad.
It's like years ago I saw a picture.
A homunculus.
That's me. A long time ago I saw a picture of like a dude. He posted a picture of like just like a McDonald's cheeseburger, and he's like, "Oh, I eat them with like the wrapper on," and there's like a bite taken out of it. It's
Oh no, that stuff is so cursed,
what the
man.
fuck,
Yeah.
man? Like
the pizza with the bone sticking out of it.
Yeah, or like the hot dog where someone takes a bite of the middle, like the middle of the
God.
hot. Yeah,
That's disgusting. What's
I
wrong
know.
with you?
I can't imagine.
Ugh.
Oh boy, so flops, right?
Mhm.
Speaking of floppy wieners,
Oh yeah.
let's just get
I'll
let's
put
just
mine
get
back. Hold on.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, roll that shit up.
roll it back up. You gotta get the old hose, like
You talk about a fruit by the foot.
Oh man.
dude. Oh shit, let's just talk about Concord. Like, let's get it out of the way. I mean,
Yeah. Let's get
the
Concord out of here.
the big old one out of the way.
Can I ask you guys though? Did you guys ever play? I mean, like there was a beta period like a couple months ago. Did any of you either participate in this? Because I did. So I actually played the game.
I do not have a PS5. So
Oh,
no.
that's right. Y'all are Xbox. I keep fucking forgetting.
I'll get
That's
a
right.
PS5 eventually. It's just like I'm just not in a rush to grab one. Like I'll eventually
I
grab one when it's
understand.
like cheap in the used market. I'll catch up on the exclusives and then I'll be fine.
I want that
Yeah, I
exclusive R-Type, motherfucker.
Yeah, R-Type R-Type Final 3 you talking about?
Yeah.
Because that shit's hot. That shit is very good.
Yeah, for some reason Concord's like $80. Like what the hell's wrong with you people?
I don't understand. You can't even
$80? I
fucking
thought
play
it was like
But-
40.
So
According to
okay.
price charting, it's shot up.
Yeah, it's up there. I'm sure I could go to Walmart right now and see it. No, they pulled them from the shelves, huh? They probably pulled them.
Yeah.
Let's look at
Yeah.
Walmart Plus right now. See if I'm a Walmart Plus member, verified motherfucker.
Yeah. Somebody's
See if I can get
somebody
one.
is selling one. It says brand new Concord PlayStation 5 sealed in hand PS5 game unplayable. They're asking for $104.
Fuck you. I'm not. Please.
Disgusting.
outta here.
But okay, all right. But Dre, you've played Concord, so please tell us.
All I'm finding is jelly. They totally pulled Concord out. All I'm finding is jelly.
Oh my
jelly.
god.
Sorry, Thrak, go ahead.
Wow. No, that's okay. No, I played it. So here's the thing. I've been playing Overwatch for like ever since it came out, even in beta, right?
Mhm.
So I've been an Overwatch player for forever. Just a few months ago, I stopped playing Overwatch 2 now, Overwatch 2. I finally gave it up. I just couldn't do it anymore. So the thing is, over the summer, I'm looking at stuff like Marvel Rivals, which looks amazing, by the way, and Concord and other stuff. I'm like, I need that. Fill that hole in my life. Fill that hole, baby. And
Fill
I
that
just
floppy
fill
hole.
that floppy hole with floppy
Lawbreakers.
and like yeah. So like I was kind of I don't want to say excited for Concord, but I was like, I'll play the beta and see what it is. Here's the problem. So you know how I'm have you guys ever played Overwatch? Like ever? I don't.
Oh,
I mean,
fuck yeah.
Okay. So like you know how Aaron, like in the game the characters are talking to each other. May
Yeah.
says this to Reinhardt and Winston says this to Winston. They all have like these lines with each other, right? And there's like all this lore and all this stuff you find out just by playing the game. Right? Concord was trying to do this thing where it's like, here's a cutscene a week and we'll tell you a story. Yeah, Overwatch had like cool, like animated like stuff on, YouTube, but that's not the reason why people like the characters. It's from playing the game and you get to know them. Concord doesn't have that. It's completely silent. The only thing you really hear is like the announcer being like, "Oh, the so and so team almost won" or whatever, and it's like there's no personality of that in the game. You got to have it in the game. Here's the number 2. It's also not Overwatch. I think people see Concord and think, "Oh, it's an Overwatch clone."
Yeah.
You know what it is? It's Destiny. It's Destiny PvP. That's what Concord it.
Okay.
That's what Concord was, I should say, in the past tense. And so, like, that's fine. I played a lot of Destiny in my life. I've never been much of a PvP person, but that's okay. But is that going to get a whole bunch of people to buy your, $50, $40 online game? I really don't think so. So it's for me, just from my brief experience with the game, those are the two things I noticed where I was like, I don't think this game is going to do that well. I didn't expect it to go this way. You don't get me wrong, but like, damn, dude, Concord will go down. And I said this on Fine Time when we talked about it. It's going to be the biggest flop of our lifetimes. This is so unprecedented. There's nothing like it, man. A game just dying in 2 weeks, crazy to me.
Yeah, especially like a big first party, like new IP and something that they were pushing like decently hard as well. But I remember when like, I think it was like a state of play where like a good chunk of it was just Concord or whatever, Concord, California. Like a lot of people were just like, meh. Like people just seemed kind of, I don't know about this thing, but I don't think people expected it to like not to do what it did. Like I think most people thought like, it'll probably have a little audience. It'll probably last for like a year or two, and then maybe they'll slowly kill it. And it's kind of surprising that they killed it in 2 weeks because like it performed that badly. Yeah. You know, like you think they would have maybe given it a couple months to see if it would gain some, some steam on the tail end. But like it just didn't work. And people were always bringing up like the Steam concurrent players, which I've learned is not the most accurate way to judge if a game's popular or not, but that's another story. So it's just crazy to see this type of like flop at this scale. Like it's one thing if it's just like a random indie dev or like a third party that tries this and it just doesn't work out. But this is like Sony trying to make something new because they don't really have anything else for the rest of this year because they had this in Astrobot. That was it. Yeah. You know, like they've announced the Ghost of Tsushima sequel, but that's not coming out till next year.
And the thing is, and we just had that state of play, and I said this on I said this on Fine Time. I think at some point that Horizon Zero Dawn remaster was supposed to be like a big deal. They just kind of shoved that in after Lego Horizon in that show because it leaked months ago, and everyone's like, "Who fucking cares? Like, why are we doing this?" I think they saw the response, and they're like, "Okay, let's just kind of hide this."
Yeah,
and I think that's what they're doing with it, and they should. Because
I had said on 3DO with the Horizon one, and also I think there's a rumored Days Gone remaster in the works.
Yeah.
Apparently, if I had to take a guess, if I'm going to be nice to Sony for once, I think they're working on like the remasters for the PC audience first. Like I think that's the idea behind these. Okay. And then when they finish them, they're like, we might as well just put them on PlayStation because it's like a damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because if they just release these remasters on PC, then people would be like, why not just put it on the console, man? You know, people would complain about that.
That's a good point.
That's my assumption because all these remasters, they've been coming out on PC as well. So I think that's the idea. But I still get people being upset about it because it feels like these remasters are taking the place of them making like more like original titles or remastering like older games that can't be played on PS5 right now. You know, games that they should be bringing back from say like
I don't mind the
era.
remasters, and I don't really buy that it's taking away stuff. Like I don't really get it from that angle. I just don't think that's like worth doing. You know, like I just don't think we need to be remastering this stuff. And the thing is, just going over their 2024 Concord, not just because it's a historic flop, but it sticks out because like, it's like you said, 2 weeks later they had Astrobot, in the world's eaten out of their hand again. You know, it just goes to show like, guys, like, you know what I mean? Like maybe just do something different and people will like it, man.
Like Astrobot kind of represents what they should be doing, but I've read a couple articles that suggest that like Sony may take the wrong lesson from Astrobot, which I think is possible, but we'll see in the future.
Yeah, I hope the lesson they took from Concord. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say they have like 1 million IPs they could tap into.
Yeah,
to either remake or reboot or remaster, but
I just have a feeling they're going to take the Astrobot success not as a sign of we should bring back these games, but just more like people like this sort of parade nostalgia. Like do you remember like Astrobot's a memberberry game. It's a memberberry game. It is, and that's not taking away anything from it, but it does so much that is just like I remember that I think it could take Astrobot in the wrong direction.
I hope that's not the case. I just hope they realize it's just a good ass game, and
I hope
you know what I mean. Yeah,
I hope I'm wrong. I don't want to be right in this case.
Concord appealed to nobody, and in me, I'm the market. I play those kind of games, and I was
just
like,
shooter guy.
Yeah, no, thank you. So
does Lawbreakers still have those private servers?
Oh, I forgot about that fucking game. Holy shit.
Would love,
memory unlocked,
I can't,
bro.
I think it still has.
I want to talk about.
I thought people brought up. I thought people were bringing like private servers for it back. Unless that happened and nobody's playing it again. Unless people played it for like a week and then just went, fuck it.
Yeah, that's probably just like the game.
It's so insane how quickly Sony or whoever the fuck pulled the plug on Concord.
It was Sony.
Especially considering people paid money for the game. Like, it'd be different if it was free to play and they were potentially losing money on it. Because people probably not buying I don't know if there were microtransactions or anything.
Not really.
If people are paying,
did people get refunds?
Yeah, everyone got a refund. Even if you bought it retail, you could take it. Yeah, they set up a whole thing. Yeah.
Thank God.
They could have
got a refund. Yeah.
They could have given it like another year and maybe like workshopped it a little bit. Maybe learn from player feedback and shit. Do the old Xbox
No Man's
One.
Sky.
Like, yeah, No Man's Sky.
Like, that's a game that, like, when it first came out, everyone was like, oh, it flopped super hard. And now we cut to
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk was another one I was thinking of that started out really bad. But now you go and play either one of those games. It's like, yeah, they're actually pretty good. They kind of fixed
Final
most
Fantasy
of the issues.
14, if anyone remembers.
Infamous.
Yeah, they completely, if I remember, that came out and it was so bad, they completely scrubbed it and then remade it and brought it back out.
Yep.
It went from being like the worst rated Final Fantasy to being like the best rated one.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And also, just speaking of Concord, the Firewalk Studios, the guy who directed Concord left like a few days ago. So what can I say? Can we? How about that?
Screwed.
Do you guys think the game will ever come back? Because
no.
See, all of us on Fine Time thought no as well. We don't think it's ever coming back.
I've seen that start to appear like online. Some people suggesting will they ever bring it back? I honestly don't think they will.
Yeah, I don't see why they would. If
they were this quick to completely kill it, I don't see them wanting to put any effort into bringing it back. You know, like this isn't going to be Morbius.
No.
Oh man. I forgot about that too. Holy shit! All these hidden gems. No, fucking Morbius.
That's a funny that the story of that movie is more interesting than the movie itself.
Who wants to go next?
What you got, Trey?
We'll count Concord as one of my first.
Okay. Do you guys want to talk about Lawbreakers? Because I kind of wrote that down. I would love to kind of get into that, just a little bit at least, because like it's something that sticks out of my mind a lot. Huh?
Cliffy B.
Cliff Bleszinski.
Yeah, Cliffy B.
My dude.
But the thing is, I was introduced to this game in a really weird way. It was a YouTube ad. And I didn't know the name of the game yet. And I was just like, and I was just kind of letting it play because I wasn't really paying attention. And then I just heard this extremely adolescent dialogue coming out of my TV. It's like a 12-year-old whose dad gave him permission to cuss for the first time or something. Like it was so weird. It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna blow the tits off these motherfuckers. And look, I don't have a problem with bad language. I mean, what is fine time, right? Except we say fuck 100 times. But it's just like
tits floppy.
Them tits floppy, bitch. But like, yeah, I don't know, man. This just sounded like, it's not adult language. It's just very like, guys, what are you doing?
PG-13.
It was not. There was a lot of fuck. It was definitely not PG-13.
Okay, yeah, you're allowed one fuck in a PG-13 movie.
Only non-sexually. You can't say it sexually.
Yeah,
you're only allowed one.
You're allowed to say like all these fuckers. You can say that once.
You can't say I want to fuck you tonight because you will get a rated R. You have to say these motherfuckers. Or it doesn't fucking matter what you think or something.
Yeah.
The
following podcast has been rated R.
It always has
Home Alone Lost in New York has been rated R.
That would be amazing. I would love to see a rated R recut of that movie.
Dude.
That'd be incredible.
That'd be great.
But no, and then so it wasn't just that. So it was very off-putting, right? So that's how I was introduced to the game, and I'm like, okay. And then Cliffy B, man, just the asshole way he just went after Overwatch and was just like, well, we don't have a stupid healing character with a wand, and we don't have this cartoony bullshit, and blah blah blah. And it's like, it was so unlikable that I was rooting for the game to fail. And it did. It lasted like 9 months, though, which is 8.5 more months than Concord. So I guess there's that, right? But like,
it did.
That game felt doomed to fail just because the marketing, again, was so adolescent. Plus, it was coming out at a time when like Evolve had already kind of flopped, right? And then remember Evolve? Yeah. And then
that's on my list.
Yeah.
It's the only game I can recall that I feel was released into the used game rack of GameStop.
But yeah, Lawbreaker, I don't know. And the thing is about like most of the games we're probably going to talk about today with, I don't know what you guys have. These games aren't bad. Like they're not horrendous.
Oh.
Like Concord wasn't a horrendous game. Lawbreakers wasn't a horrendous game. It's just the wrong thing at the wrong time, you know?
Yeah, like I don't know if you guys have read Cliffy B's book, Control Freak. I highly recommend it because you get to, read about Cliff Bleszinski's life, and he's had a pretty interesting life. I mean, throughout his time in the gaming world, like coming in like very early at Epic Games, making like Jazz Jackrabbit as like a teenager.
I forgot about that.
And then like he hit big with like Unreal and was considered like one of the future major game designers. And then, of course, he's most known nowadays for the Gears of War franchise, for kicking that off and making the incredible trilogy. Then he's also attached to games like Shadow Complex and Bulletstorm.
Shadow Complex.
He technically named Fortnite. Like he was still kind of around Epic at the time, and they were showing him what would be Fortnite, but they didn't have a name for it, and he just kind of threw that out there. So, but he doesn't say it in the way that like he's trying to take credit for it, but it's just like he might be responsible for the name. Yeah. But there's a good section of the book toward the end where he goes pretty much in depth about like Boss Key Productions and trying to make Lawbreakers and like going out on his own for the first time to make something. And he regrets all that shit he did about like, saying that like pricing it at $60, really going after Overwatch and trying to like go after the hero shooter, and like Lawbreakers was like a traditional arena shooter, like an Unreal or whatever. And he's like, he was like, he totally missed the mark on that. And he regrets a lot about what happened with Lawbreakers.
Well, that's interesting that he reflects, because like there's a lot of guys who would never even admit that going to their grave, right? So like, but yeah, I just, even at the time, it's just like, dude, what are you? This is not going to win you anybody. Like, I don't know why you're going after him like this.
Yeah.
It was just off-putting and bad,
Yeah. Because I remember when it first was announced, it was free to play. And then later on, it was like it became a priced, like it actually became a priced game, and that caused a whole controversy. And then the other controversy was he was doing PC and just PS4. There was no Xbox release.
Yep.
Which for him to do that was kind of weird, because I imagine the people who were probably invested in it were Xbox people because of the association with Gears. And he talked about how he wanted to kind of stray away from Xbox to prove that he could make it work on PlayStation. But again, he realized, and he said it was a business decision as well, because, the PS4 did a lot better than the Xbox One. But he has said, and again, I recommend reading his book, specifically that section on Lawbreakers, where he talks about like, he says like everything that could have went wrong, and just like nothing happened. And when he had to pull the plug, he was relieved, but also like depressed because he couldn't just make it work. And after that is when he just kind of left video gaming entirely. And I don't blame him.
No,
for getting out at that point. So it was what it was. But I do recommend that book. It's a very good book.
Yeah, that's interesting that he said all that. That's very interesting.
Oh yeah, he comes off these days a lot more of a mature, humble guy than he used to be. Like if you remember, like how he looked at like those E3 presentations, or and he talks about being like an immature dude for like a very long time. Yeah. So
reminds me of Phil Fish, the guy who made Fez,
yeah.
And cool game. His exit from the video game industry. Fuck you guys, I'm done. Fez 2 is canceled. Bye.
Bye. I'm taking my toys and I'm taking my Fez and going home. Right?
Yeah,
like,
fuck you,
Phil
asshole.
Fish.
Yeah,
fuck
he's
that
a
asshole.
prick anyway. Fuck him.
Yeah, that's the thing. Fez is not a bad game, but if you want to play it, game. Yo ho ho it. All right, don't get me.
Yeah. I will.
Does the recent like remaster or whatever, does that go to Phil Fish, or
did Fez get a remaster?
I'm pretty sure, because it got released on Switch.
Yeah, but I thought that was just like
a couple years
game.
ago. Yeah, I forgot.
Okay, maybe not.
Yeah, it just goes to Trapdoor and Polytron Corporation.
Yeah, I don't know what he's involved with anymore, if anything. But yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, fuck him.
Yeah. I remember I saw a panel with him and a bunch of other people like shit talking like Japanese games.
That's the thing that sticks out in my mind.
And that was back in like, I think it was 2010 when like, hating on Japanese games was kind of like the hip thing to do.
Oh yeah,
and that stuff did not age well at all.
No,
none of that stuff did, dude. All
No.
that shit is like just. Oof, what can I say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But speaking of Japanese games,
Ooh.
I got a flop for you. This happened a couple years ago, and I was, when I first saw it, I'm like, this isn't going to go well. I could just tell it wasn't going to go well, and it didn't go well. And I think honestly, most people have forgotten about this, and I think you guys probably have too. It was a little game called Babylon's Fall.
Oh no,
yeah.
I remember.
Oh my god!
remembers.
Yeah,
I remember.
Pepperidge Farm.
I love Platinum games. Love them to death. They've
Me
made
too.
some fantastic video games over the years. In fact, I think recently they have acquired the Wonderful 101 IP from Nintendo now.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, apparently they had like 50-50. That's how we're able to do the remaster for PS4, but now they say they own the whole thing. And people are trying to say part of that deal was Nintendo getting Astral Chain, but I don't know how true that is. But we're not here for
has
that.
Astral Chain?
There's a news piece that they acquired the IP from Platinum, so they just own it outright.
That'd
That's
be
interesting.
fucking sweet.
Which says to me they're not going to do shit with it.
I don't know, man. You never know.
I mean,
I loved
RIP
Astral
Custom
Chain.
Robo.
I would love a sequel.
Me too.
I think that gameplay could use some refinement, but there's
It could, but
there's
I
a
really
great
appreciate
idea
it.
there.
It's
More-
a great B plus.
Yeah, more detective
Yes.
segments. Let me be a cop more. God damn it!
Exactly.
More cop shit. That
But
shit
yeah,
was so fun.
Babylon's
Mhm.
Fall also was like PS4, PS5, and PC. I never got to play it, but it was like
did.
an action RPG that was, it was being made by Platinum, being published by Square, and like the last time they did that was Nier Automata, and Nier Automata famously saved Platinum from being completely disbanded, which was fantastic. So hearing about this, people were like, "Oh, this might go well," right? Like people were kind of like, "This could be something special," but then the dreaded 2 words came up: live service. And that's when everyone went, oh no, this is not going to go well. And sure enough, just like the Avengers, Crystal Dynamics published by Square,
Mhm.
that also flopped as well. And with both games, my guess is the live service part got completely wedged in by Square. Because I haven't
Yes.
played Avengers. I think it's still in Game Pass. But from
Yeah.
what I'm told of Avengers, like the first half is like pretty solid and it's just kind of a game. But then in like the second half is where the live service stuff kicks in. And people have speculated that's when Square were like, oh, you gotta do live service stuff.
Well, here's the thing. I have played Babylon's Fall. I played. There was a beta period. See, when any of these games have a beta, I always try it. I always try these things. So I have played Babylon's Fall, and friend of Fine Time, then you probably have heard him on the show before. He played it with me, so it's like, okay, let's try this thing online. It's some of the worst graphics I've ever seen.
Shit.
Like in all respects. I'm not even joking. Like the models are horrendous. The frame rate is terrible. It has this. It's trying to do this thing where it's trying to look like a painting. So it has this like veneer over it, but it just looks smudgy and it looks like shit. It looks so bad. It just looks like something is wrong. It legit looks like something is wrong with your TV. Like
is
you
it
have
like the
ghosting or
Vaseline
something.
filter?
No, it's worse. It really is
Ooh.
trying to look like brush strokes, like textured, like
It's
you
like
know what I mean,
like
on a
peanut butter.
canvas.
Like you're wrapping peanut butter on there.
Peanut
Yeah,
butter.
basically chunky peanut butter.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it looks so bad. The mission structure was horrendous. Like the stuff when you finally get to town after like the initial mission, you like trying to hook up with like, oh, how do we even like play the game together? Me and Vin were trying to. It took us forever, and that's not good. Right? Like it took us forever to figure that shit out. Whereas like, this isn't Phantasy Star Online where it's like, okay, join my party, right? This was convoluted. And then we did a mission where it's like I don't know, then died, and then he could never be revived. So I was ended up doing this by myself. And it's like, what kind of multiplayer is this? I think you're right, Thrak. This was like supposed to not be like this. I don't know why. Well, obviously Square Enix mandated it, but it was just awful in every respect. Now, if it were not a live service game, it still wouldn't have been good, obviously. But like, Jesus Christ, man. It was a disaster from top to bottom. That's like probably, I said most of these games aren't bad. Babylon's Fall is fucking bad. That was terrible.
Yeah. And this game lasted 6 months. So 5.5 months longer than Concord.
Yeah.
And it's
that's the measurement now.
Yeah, and it is from what you've said, a demonstrably worse game in every aspect. Because it's crazy. Like, yeah, Platinum had a weird 2022, man, because that same year we also got Sol Cresta, which was like their little shmup. That was like, it was okay, but it was like not worth. I think it was like $40 when it came out. It's like
it was way too expensive,
price.
and it didn't look good for what it was. No.
Yeah, and I'm told it's painfully average. Average. And then also that same year, Bayonetta 3 finally came out, and I've played through that, and I liked Bayonetta 3 for what it was. I did. Some of the criticism I always thought was a little much when it came to some of the lore stuff, but I thought it was fine. Maybe a little overambitious for what the Switch could do, but it ran surprisingly better than Babylon's Fall did on a much more powerful system.
Fucking man.
That had the whole like Borderlands kind of effect to it, to where like the second game is just so fucking good. It's like, okay, how the fuck do you top that? And
I mean, even Bayonetta 1 is still like a fantastic.
It's still
game
fucking solid, dude.
The first Bayonetta is. I say this with I'm prone to hyperbole. Bayonetta 1 is like my favorite 3D action game of all time ever.
I know a few
that's
people
how
who
strongly
say that.
I feel about that game.
I own 3 copies, two on accident.
I have Xbox 360, I have Switch, and I have Steam. I have also 3 copies.
I bought the physical Bayonetta 1 when they did that quick little re-release for it, right?
Me too.
Ahead of Bayonetta 3. I bought it because I was like, I need to get this.
It's so good.
Like, I have the giant Bayonetta 3 collector's edition. You probably can't see it back there, but like...
Ooh, a Bayonetta cutout, like cardboard cut, life-size Bayonetta cardboard cutout.
No,
I love Bayonetta 2. Don't get me wrong. I think Bayonetta 2 is fucking fantastic.
I would say 2 is like one of my favorite 3D action games I've ever played.
Okay.
I love Bayonetta 2. To me, it's like a complete thrill ride from start to finish.
They're both so good, and 3 just doesn't hold up to that for me. Obviously,
it doesn't. But I think it's fine. I don't think it's a bad game at all.
I would like it more if it. I don't know why the performance is so bad. Why does it run like fucking ass? That doesn't make any sense.
You can tell it's pushing the Switch pretty hard,
floppy
though.
Ass.
They didn't need to do that, though. You just had 2 games that I don't know. They pushed it too far. They didn't need. to do that.
I don't know. Hopefully, the Switch 2 it'll run better on that.
I hope so.
Find out.
Yeah, dude. But yeah, Babylon's Fall. I feel like I'm the one who has played every shitty beta of every shitty game on this show.
Hey, somebody needed to do it. You know, and to be fair, if I had a PlayStation at the time, I would have checked this out. Absolutely. It's a shame that it happened the way it did, and especially when it's like the last time they worked together was like still like one of the most beloved like modern RPGs in Nier Automata. So the fact that they were somehow shit the bed on this was like incredible. Mm-hmm. But hopefully they haven't completely given up on working together. I mean,
I hope not.
What didn't Yoko Taro say that a Nier sequel was in the works? Yeah, or that like he's doing something with Automata, and my guess is Platinum's probably going to be involved.
That'd be cool.
I don't
bring
see
back Scalebound. Dig it up.
Yes.
Scalebound is dead.
It's
never coming back. A shame because that game would have been. That game would have
been
so
good.
Though elements of it, I think, are in Bayonetta 3. I think they took some elements from it and put it in there, like with the big monster fights and I swear the first time I saw, I can't remember her name, but the other character you play as in Bayonetta 3, like female.
The young girl,
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for the first time I saw her, I went, is she like the female version of the dude from Scalebound?
Apparently,
she kind of looks similar.
Apparently, a lot of Astral Chain was based around some of the ideas they used for Scalebound, like the whole companion thing and have an AI control and shit like that. But so flops, right? Evolve, holy shit!
Yeah,
I've never played Evolve. All I've ever seen of Evolve is when I go into like a GameStop and it's like $5.
Yeah, dude. So I pre-ordered this fucking game because I played. I really enjoyed the beta. The beta was actually good. So for listeners, it's basically 4v1 multiplayer game. So you have your team of 4. There's different classes. There's I forget the names. There's one person that they just do damage. They just do damage to the monster. There's a healer. There's a trapper who just like catches the monster and like holds him still and shit. And then there's another class I forget. But basically, you work together as a team to basically just kill the monster. And then the monster, there's another player character, and they just run around the map. They eat animals and slowly evolve into these different forms, gaining new abilities and skill points and shit. And during the beta, there was just the one monster that you could play as, but they gave you more monsters as the game went on. But yeah, the beta was good. Then they released the game, and like it was still good for a little bit, but then they started releasing more and more characters that you could play as, and then the game got really unbalanced. Like stupidly unbalanced. Like it's that Sony meme where it's like, we're so back, we're so fucked. Or I'm doing that totally opposite. But
yeah,
like
we're fucked. We're back. We're fucked.
Yeah, because like at first it was like, oh, the monster has too much health, so they would nerf the monster, and then it's like, oh well, now the player character or the team of 4 is way too overpowered. So then they would like nerf and buff different heroes or whatever, and then bring in new heroes that you could play as, and it'd be like, well, okay, well, now the heroes are way too overpowered, the monster doesn't stand a chance, and it'd just be this constant back and forth of like, one is more powerful than the other, and like
they just kept adjusting the balance, and they just couldn't get it right.
Yeah, no matter what they did, like one would overpower the other, and they kind of also like I said, they released different kinds of monsters you could play as that kind of like change it up and help the game a little bit, but ultimately, like it's and depending on who you played with, like if you play with somebody who really knows and understands the game, you could probably kind of tilt it more in your favor. But yeah, if you're playing with somebody that's new to the game, they would just run off on their own, and if you try to 3-man the monster, you're fucked. But yeah, I think eventually, so it started off, it was like a $60 game, and then they went free to play, I believe, after a couple years. And then they still couldn't attract new players, so they were like, all right, we'll just fucking kill it.
I remember people, I knew a couple people who played Evolve, and they were really pissed at the DLC for some reason. Do you remember any like DLC controversy? Yeah, okay, I think it was just a lot of DLC.
Yeah, all the new monsters and the new characters, even like I think there were new skins for characters and shit like that too. It was all paid DLC. There was like barely anything that you could unlock in the game. I don't think there really was anything you could unlock in the game other than maybe like new abilities for characters or something dumb, but just way too much. Like I think it was Payday 2 or 3 also had the same thing where there was just way too much paid DLC and not enough stuff in game that you could just unlock.
It's a complaint I've heard about Payday 3. Yeah, that's why people still play 2 more.
Yeah, Payday 2 was so fucking fun.
What blows my mind is I'm doing some research on Evolve, and like apparently it was originally going to be developed by THQ.
Yeah.
Or published by THQ, right before they died. And then the team that made it was like, it's called Turtle Rock Studios. And I'm like, why do I know that name? Because when I just assumed the people who made this game were dead, right? But no, they made a couple years ago Back for Blood, which was like a Left 4 Dead clone. And everyone's like, this is a weird Left 4 Dead clone. And then I look, and then they made the original Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Did.
Oh,
yeah.
What the hell's going on here?
Yeah, they made it. They did it all. They did Left 4 Dead. They did Evolve. They did Back for Blood.
Oh, my God. Is Back for Blood any good?
I thought it was so okay. Like the okayest game I've ever played.
Yeah, because like Left 4 Dead 1 is pretty good, but I remember having a lot more fun with Left 4 Dead 2.
That's the one people like, yeah.
Yeah,
I've never been a
Left 4 Dead person.
Awesome.
I played it like the few times I went to like a computer cafe was like we were playing that game. And it's fun to play with like other people in that kind of environment, but I don't know if I could deal with it on my own,
All right. I want to talk about one because in history, it's not remembered this way, but I was there, goddammit, and it was this way. Okay? I'm old, everybody. I know
Showing
this.
his age.
So, It's the sequel to one of the most popular games of all time. And when it came out, nobody gave a fuck. And that is Street Fighter 3.
Oh.
I can tell you
Okay.
this. When Street Fighter 3 New Generation hit the arcades, it was so weird. Obviously, Alex was the main character. Ryu and Ken were shoved in at the last second because on location tests, they weren't even in the game. It was all original characters, and people were like, what the fuck? This isn't even Street Fighter. So they added Ryu and Ken at the last second. This thing came out with 10 characters, Street Fighter 3, and it had 3, like THREE on the marquee at the arcade. It didn't even say Street Fighter, it's just 3 with this new art style and everything. Nobody cared. If you I mean, obviously all of us are old enough to know how big Street Fighter 2 was.
Oh yeah.
And for the sequel to come out and it just to be whatever. It was crazy to me. That's like the first time I remember a game distinctly flopping, because this was at my arcade. Nobody played it. And it's a beautiful game. Everyone's seen Street Fighter 3. The animation is off the charts, right? Like it is incredible the way they worked. And like they spent like 3-4 years making it, which back then was an eternity, especially for an arcade game.
Especially for Street Fighter, because how many fucking releases of Street Fighter had come out by that point?
Well, yeah. So there's like 5 Street Fighter 2s, right? So it's just like
I guess maybe and there was like the 3 alphas.
Yeah, Alpha is another series, but yeah, there's like hella Street Fighter happening, right?
Hella
and it's
Street
just like,
Fighter.
Yeah, hella Street Fighter, and it's just like this cabinet came out, it was so untouched, and people think it's because things are going 3D, not necessarily in arcades, and not necessarily for fighting games. 2D was still very, very viable in the arcade in '97. When people talk about the 2D thing, that's a console thing. Because like when we talk about like PS1 or Saturn or N64, it's like, no, 2D is old. We need 3D graphics. That wasn't the case at the arcade. So the fact that this game came out to such little fanfare, I noticed, and I was just like, is it just me or does no one give a shit about this? This game is cool. It wasn't perfect. Now, of course, over time, we know the story. Street Fighter 3 Second Impact comes out, gets a little more notoriety. Street Fighter 3 Third Strike comes out, gets a little bit more notoriety. And then over the years, that game becomes like beloved, right?
Yeah,
definitely
I think Third Strike is considered the best game of the Street Fighter series.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, people consider that.
I'm more of like an Alpha 2 guy.
I like Alpha more too. I like Alpha 3 is one of my favorite games of all time. So,
that is a good fighting game.
I think all 3 Alpha games are worth playing in their own right, but that's another discussion. I agree. Yeah, I think they're all good. Point is, Street Fighter 3. Imagine that. Street Fighter 3 comes out and just no one cares. It's amazing. It was amazing to me.
Do you think it has anything to do with like Street Fighter fatigue? Maybe because since Street Fighter 2 had come out in '91, right? And then we had all of those versions of 2 and Alpha that by the time we hit 3, most people were just like, yeah, it's Street Fighter, man. Like, we already know what it's going to be. And think about it, by '97, there was a lot more competition.
Yeah.
I mean, Mortal Kombat was still doing its... Mortal Kombat was still doing its thing. I know Mortal Kombat 4 was a 3D fighter, and that game's legacy is not the greatest, but I know at the time it was.
But when
like
it came out, it was popular. Yeah, it was really popular.
Yeah, and also like Tekken was a thing.
Yep.
Like Soul Calibur was right around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a lot more competition in the fighting game realm for Street Fighter 3 at that point compared to say 2, when there really wasn't much. So the only thing I could guess with Street Fighter 3 is maybe by that point it wasn't evolving enough for people to really stick with it. And people, they liked, say, like Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo or Alpha 3 so much that they're do I really need another Street Fighter game?
Yeah, right, that's part of it. That's part of it. Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah.
I was going to say, so Street Fighter 2 came out in '91, and then from then, you had, in '92 alone, you had Street Fighter 2 Champion and 2 Turbo, and then '93, basically from '91 to '97, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Street Fighter games, not counting base Street Fighter 3 and base Street Fighter 2. So 10 fucking Street Fighter games.
A lot of those were arcade machines too. Yeah, like I think Champion Edition was like a pure like console version. But, a lot of them
I think there was a Genesis
machines.
Version of Champion Edition, yeah. I think so.
Yeah. That was the big version for that console. But so like there's a lot of shit. So yeah, that's part of it. Believe you me. It's just that like
I don't know, you would just think like people would be more interested. It's like, oh, we finally got the Street Fighter 3. That was the meme. Oh, now they're going to make Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo Alpha plus, Generation X or whatever. Like, like that was the original meme in the 90s of the Street Fighter names, right? Then we finally get to 3 and everyone's like, and so I loved the game. I guess I shouldn't say I loved the game. I was fascinated by the game. It wasn't perfect by any means, but God, it was beautiful. And I felt bad for it. I genuinely felt bad. I was like, this game just deserves more. You know what? Also, part of the problem is you could not port that game to PS1 or Saturn. It was too intense. You had to wait for Dreamcast, which is not a system a lot of people had, as we all know. So that was the first system that could handle Street Fighter 3 at home, whereas all the other ones you could port. You could not port Street Fighter 3.
That's true.
So, yeah.
Well, another question, Dre. There was another Capcom fighting series that was starting to blow up around this time, and it was like the Marvel Capcom crossovers are starting to be a thing at this point. Like, we didn't have Marvel vs. Capcom 1 yet, but in '97 is when we got Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter,
and
which
Dark
I
Star
know
was
like a beloved game.
One. Yes.
Were those games more popular? Like, were people more into like Marvel vs. Street Fighter at the time?
Oh, yes. X-Men Children of the Atom, Marvel Superheroes, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, those were big shit. Those were really played a lot versus, like, I would say probably people played Alpha a little more just because it's Street Fighter as we know it, and with obviously some new stuff. But yeah, no, dude, the Versus series was hot shit, dude. People loved those games. Shit. People were always on that shit, so.
Yeah. So maybe it was a case of, like, Street Fighter 3 just kind of got lost in the shuffle. Maybe there was just way too much fighting games coming out at the time, especially from Capcom.
Yeah,
that that by the time we got Street Fighter 3, people were just kind of like, meh.
Yeah, that could be it. That could be it. But also,
I
again,
remember when Street Fighter 4 came out. That was a big fucking deal.
Well, because that was
so many years later, and it was a different circumstance.
Yeah, and like it is just So I guess just a victim of 1997. Just maybe wasn't the time for that. I guess, but again, it was so different. It only had Ryu and Ken. Like people maybe just not recognizable characters, but that didn't stop Street Fighter 2, right? You got to start somewhere. But yeah, just a confluence of events caused Street Fighter 3 to not be popular at first. But then it took a couple more iterations and a long time after that for Third Strike to become a thing. So, but yeah, it eventually ended up okay. But I tell you what, that was the most neglected machine I had ever seen. It was crazy.
And that soundtrack is fucking bopping.
Oh
dude.
my god! All three Street Fighter 3 soundtracks are. Okay, I haven't set up my October Jam of the Week on Flying Time on Twitter. I'm doing Street Fighter 3. Fuck it, I'm doing all Street Fighter 3. I'm doing it.
Those games are surprising how great their soundtracks are.
It's so late '90s. It's so of the time. It's so good. It's so.
Our boy Jameson has an episode all about that.
Yeah, and it
love it.
Yeah, and it segues right into like the Capcom versus N64 soundtracks, which are also like really good. And then the Marvel ones are okay. I love
the Marvel ones.
I think MVC2 soundtrack is a teeny bit overrated.
I love that
Marvel
fucking
Capcom
soundtrack.
2,
Man.
It's fine. But it's so different. I like the other ones done by the lady. I always call her the Versus lady, but she's also done like Mega Man 6 and like other stuff. Like she's one of the best Capcom composers ever. So like I love the Versus stuff. But yeah, Street Fighter 3 notorious flop, but now maybe not so notorious.
Notorious big flop.
Notorious big floppy titties.
Before we go any further, there you go. Yeah, before we go any further, should we take an ad break? Should we take a?
Or do you want me to do my second one? Or let's wait till after the ads. How about that?
Let's do that. We'll be right back. Let's take a minute to thank the real sponsors of Super Pod Saga, the real MVPs, the real stars of the show, the official superstars, I guess, the patrons. Each and every one of you is a superhero, and I really mean that. It means just the world to me. But yeah, thank you a lot. It's so cool, so awesome. Let's thank all of them. Let's go. A Novel Console, Jared Schrader, Jameson Empire, Adam Phineas, Trey, Jeff Miners, Jenny E, Kevin Demo, Thrak, Mr. Kwong, Matt aka Stormageddon. Every single one of you are just the best. I'm giving you a big big, huge salute right now. But thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed the bonus content. If anybody out there listening to this wants to subscribe to the Patreon and get some cool bonus content, help out the show, help me, help Jerry, whoever, there's a link in the episode description, or just go to patreon.com/superpodsaga. It's all there. There's 2 tiers, $4 a month. All of you guys, thank you so much, and hope you enjoy the rest of the episode. If you're a fan of coffee and you're looking for something different, I think we've got just the thing for you. That's Bones Coffee. Bones Coffee is not your usual coffee company. Of course, it's all sugar-free, gluten-free, all that stuff, because it's just coffee, nothing added to it. But they roast each batch of coffee beans to your order, and they've got just a bazillion different flavors to choose from. They've got your usual French vanilla, salted caramel, they've got Irish cream, of course they've got decaf, single origin coffees like Kenya, Guatemala, stuff like that, even what they call high voltage, which is extra strength, extra caffeine. But they have all sorts of other awesome kind of out of the box flavors. They've got ones like cotton candy, maple bacon, and even mint chocolate chip ice cream. And they're always coming up with new crossover flavors, like they've done a bunch for Nightmare Before Christmas, Indiana Jones, even Spider-Man, of all things. And they're also coming up with new seasonal flavors all the time. If this sounds right up your alley, feel free to use the link in our episode description and use coupon code SUPERPODSAGA at checkout to get 20% off your order. That's SUPERPODSAGA at checkout to get 20% off your order. And if you're not just in the market for coffee, you can also get some sweet mugs. They've got lots of cool shirts. They've got all sorts of different brewing equipment like French presses, stuff like that. Just head on over to bonescoffee.com, or again, use the link in our episode description and get 20% off. Get yourself a new interesting flavor and spice up your morning routine with Bones Coffee. I really hope you enjoy. I'm a really big fan of it, and I hope you find one that really hooks you. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good one. Fingernails, right? When you go paint them, so many different colors to choose from, so many different shades, I guess, whatever. What if you could have like scented and or flavored fingernail polish? Ooh, yummy. Ooh. That could be kind of good. What if you're like, my nails aren't entirely too pink yet today. I'm trying to do like a woman voice, but it might come off as offensive. What if you
try to do a woman voice? I've been smoking 30 years.
I love it. It's perfect. It's perfect.
I need my nails to be pink like grapefruit. That was fucking Gilbert Gottfried. Holy shit.
Is that Miss Piggy or something?
Mrs. Godfried?
I was trying to do like how do you know who the fuck so yeah, flavored and or scented fingernail polish. That's the bit. Yeah, you want to paint a little yellow smiley face on your nail, but it's scented like black licorice and lemon. Fucking go for it. Hey, you can even just like take the little nail polish and like right on your tongue and just eat it, drink it right out of the bottle like a little shooter. You can do that if you
savage.
Want to.
It's crazy.
But it's flavored, so you can do it. They want you to do it. It's flavored.
Like, imagine you're just like out and about, and then you see a woman drinking some, and you think it's like a 5-hour energy, and then it's just like, no, it's my strawberry nail polish.
Oh man,
it feels like it tastes like if you're drinking like a syrup extract or something, like soda without the carbonated
pure agave, like
yeah, pure agave.
It's like that Eric Andre bit where he's just. He's perusing around the gas pumps. He's like, can I get just a little squirt? And he's just like chugging gas from his gas can. Just a squirt. Daddy needs his juice.
And Aaron, it's a good thing you say that, because they are introducing their new line of gasoline flavored and scented nail polish.
Yes.
So if you're in the mood for some diesel, right? But like, with gas prices, they're crazy these days. Mm-hmm. So you can just buy like a bottle of this that's affordable, put it on your nails, and then if you're at the office doing your chomp typing, you just go
chomp. Yeah, just
There
like,
you
like
go.
oh,
So
and that's
like
that's
imagine
good.
why-
It's like a candy. It's like a candy coating for your nails.
Yeah.
It's like the M&Ms like coating, but on your
Yeah.
nails, so you can sit there and just like lick them. Like
Imagine you're in the office. Imagine you're in the office and you walk by one of your coworkers and she's just like,
whoa, shit.
like this, and it's like, are you like a cat furry? What the hell are you doing? She's like, no, it's my nail polish. Like, oh, okay,
Oh, okay.
that makes sense.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
swear I'm
total
not an
sense.
alien.
Okay.
I really love the taste of my fingernail polish. You want a bite?
Bite,
Want to bite?
just bite her finger.
Audrey, what's your favorite flavor combination and or shape or design for your nails when you're feeling feisty and fierce?
I like that yellow and red swirl that tastes like pepperoni pizza. That's my favorite. Because sometimes you just need
little
that. You
pizza
just
on your
need that hit.
fingernail.
I know we always think of the sweet flavors, but they have savory flavors too. And I just, I really like that one. It just gives me a hit. It's like, man, do I really want to order a pizza, or do I just want the essence of pizza? You can definitely get it from this flavorful nail polish.
Oh,
Essence of flavor.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's called.
it'd be like that lip gloss brand from like the early 2000s, Lip Smackers. So they had all these goofy, wacky flavor packs and
it's
shit.
still a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit!
You can get like Coke flavored lip chapstick.
Jesus
Oh, God.
Christ.
That's crazy. Yeah, I remember the lip
It's like
smackers,
$8. Fuck that shit.
Yeah,
it's
so
it's
bad.
expensive.
Let's get my
But
Burt's
damn.
Bees for fucking $4 or whatever.
used to
Chapstick,
just
holy
steal
shit!
Yeah. That's a lot of money
Get
for
some
that.
Don't you steal wool on my lips? Get all the chapped shit off.
No, back when I was working at the retail store, I used to just steal the Burt's Bees. I would just take one.
Got handfuls of Burt's
So I'm like,
Bees.
I ain't paying for this shit. No, it's just
Fuck
one at a
you,
time.
Donald. I'm taking all this Burt's Bees home.
Screw you, Bert.
Bert.
Running into the
bees outta
parking
here.
lot, just spilling birds' bees everywhere, just comically from his arms. Just
Like,
it's just-
they're like, did you steal? And you're like, no.
Never heard of a bird's bee.
Thrak, what's your favorite flavor combination? And or shape or flavor or design?
My favorite is the one that it just looks like weird, like vomit has just like splashed on your hands. You know, it looks
Ooh.
like somebody did it with their left hand or whatever.
I mean,
But
I'm
then when you-
left-handed,
but
so
that- yeah, well, most people aren't. But when you go in and you're non-dominant hand, but when you go
Okay.
and lick it, it tastes like a really nice 7-layer dip. 'Cause as we all know, once you combine it all together, it kind of looks like how it's going to look when it's done. You
like
know what
sludge,
Yeah.
I mean?
like
Yeah.
toxic sludge.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to keep the layers separate, I must say. But now
So-
with your fingernails, you can.
Sometimes I like to draw a little snowman on there, and it'll be like coconut and
It's your sour cream on the top.
oh, okay, yeah, the whitest sour cream. My bad. Yeah, sour cream and
The whitest sour cream you know.
orange. I'm trying to think of like a really foul orange flavor. Just
You
carrot, I
hate
guess.
orange stuff for some reason. I've noticed this about you, okay?
What? I love orange things. What are you talking about?
That
Really?
wall is
Maybe it's
orange
not you.
behind him.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not. Okay, maybe it wasn't you. Who the hell
I
did
just-
I podcast with that hates orange? I don't know. Maybe, I guess it's not you.
I'm trying to think of like
Please
like a really,
report back. Let me know.
what's a foul orange flavor?
Otter Pops?
Otter Pops. Holy shit.
Eh.
I don't like the orange ones of those. Runts?
I mean-
Runts?
Runts. Oh, like the fucking
Yeah.
banana ones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
runts
don't
are a
mind the
bad
banana.
candy.
They are a
I
bad
like
candy.
circus
I like
circus
runts.
peanut. Circus peanut. That's a
Oh,
bad one.
yeah. I don't
That's
like
it.
circus peanuts.
Fuck circus peanuts.
They're
That's it, dude.
disgusting.
Circus
Ugh.
penis. Circus peanuts.
Circus penis. Mine. Oh my god. It just
Actual
so-
size.
Marshmallow penises. Thank you, Circus Penises, for sponsoring this episode. Oh, fuck, man. Oh, yeah, Thrak's turn. Yeah, go ahead, Thrak.
Oh, okay, we're back.
Yeah. Oh, wait, yeah, my bad. We're back. Okay, now go.
All right, thank you, Patreon.
Oh, shit.
Okay, so this commercial flop, it might be one of the most notable flops of all time for its crazy ass history, taking forever to come out, and by the time it came out, like people really didn't care anymore, and now it's served as like a footnote in gaming history. I think you know what I'm talking about.
I don't.
Duke Nukem Forever.
Oh shit!
Oh,
Yes. I oh boy, like when I first got into following video game news on the internet, one of the
interwebs.
one of the first things I ever saw was this game called Duke Nukem Forever, a game that was touted to be coming out any day now. This was like in 2001. Any day now, and it's going to blow your fucking toilet out of its
Your circus
hole.
penis right off
Right
right
out of
your
the
clown
K-hole.
body.
Can you fly, Bobby? And yeah, like and it just took forever and ever. And I remember, I think it was in 2007, it got that trailer of just like Duke just like lifting weights in a gym, and it would like cut, and it was like, holy shit, this game graphically looks like freaking amazing. And they're like, it's coming out in like 2008, and it's like, oh man, that was so cute. And then it just kept going and kept going and kept going. So by the time that 3D Realms just shut down because they couldn't afford to still be making this game, and then they sold all their stuff off to, I think it was 2K and Gearbox, and then was Randy Pitchford involved in this? I have a feeling he was.
Yeah,
of course he was. And they were able to eventually push the game out the door. They're just like, fuck it, like just get it done, right? And they got it done, and then it came out, and it was and I remember I played it when it came out, and it was one of the most average games I have ever played in my entire life, because it did not know if it wanted to be like a Duke Nukem 3D style old school shooter, or if it wanted to embrace the new, at the time, like Call of Duty style shooters. And it just kind of fit in this weird crevice of not being more of one or the other. And it just ended up being a completely forgettable game. For such a unforgettable history, the end product was just nothing to write home about at all.
Yeah, dude, this has been so I remember hearing about Duke Nukem Forever in like the late 90s, basically, is whenever they started doing it. And then of course 2001 is when it started getting like, okay guys, is this happening or not? You know, and that's probably about, like you said, when you heard of it. And I played it too. My friend had it. I borrowed it from him because I wasn't going to pay for this shit on 360. And I think the game is perfectly okay when you're shooting stuff. The problem is you don't get to do a whole lot of that. There's like a part where you have to drive the RC car around. There's like a part where they make you do this and that. It's like, can I Duke Nukem? Like, please? Like, I don't understand. I was going to say I don't understand what their focus was, but they didn't have any. So I clearly, by playing it, it's incredible how much time you spend in Duke Nukem Forever not doing Duke Nukem stuff.
Yeah, and they tried to shoehorn in all that like adult humor of like, you know, oh, you can like actually like take a piss in a toilet, or like when it cuts to like, oh, all those women are blowing you or whatever. And it's just like it just doesn't work, you know?
It's 90s ass humor, man. It's just
and it just like it's just they're not executed well at all. So it's just like, what the hell are you doing? Like the only part that I always really liked was when you fight that boss on the football field at the very start, and then when you kill him, Duke Nukem just like punts his head through the goalpost. Like that was cool.
That's funny. Yeah,
but that's really the highlight of the game, is that right there, and then it just completely goes off the rails.
Can't you also take a poop out of one of the toilets and just like throw it all over like the beginning? That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you could already go up to like one of the you could already go up to one of the flat urinals on the wall in Duke Nukem 3D and already take a piss, and it had like a tinkle sound and everything. Like that was already a thing, right? So it wasn't like,
and it was more charming in 3D. All that weird stuff was kind of charming.
Well, yeah, you know, like as the OJ Bronco chase on the bar TV up there and stuff, and just I get it, that's like super 90s, but like at the same time, that just doesn't translate to 2011. It's a completely different world. It's like we had all that humor, edgy, stupid humor already, and it's not funny anymore. Like it's just like it's stupid.
And also, Duke Nukem 3D has the advantage of just being a better feeling shooter. Like that game is still surprisingly fun to play.
It's very fun.
Like now, like in this like weird boomer shooter revival, I'm surprised they haven't tried to push out a Duke Nukem game. But
they remaster that game like every 5 years. It feels like it kind of like Doom, you know. So it's about time for another. So.
Yeah, so they keep trying to be like, oh, it's still relevant. It's like it's not really relevant anymore, but it's a game that you play, and in that era, it fits perfectly well. Like it's a fun game for its time, but it didn't have that it wasn't able to transition out of that like a Wolfenstein or a Doom into stuff that's like completely different now.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and I just don't think Duke Nukem was ever going to be that, because the people at the helm were just like, John Carmack wasn't involved in this shit, like he wasn't going to make this work.
Exactly. Yeah, the Duke Nukem Forever was just puzzling. I just didn't understand. It's like, you guys should have just not released this. It's just not it at all.
And what's crazy is for the longest time, it held the Guinness World Record for the longest development for a video game.
It's got to be
but
broken by now.
Well,
by
guess
Beyond
who,
Good and Evil 2.
Beyond Good and Evil 2 holds the record now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A game that might be closer to releasing than we think, but I'll believe it when I see it.
I do not think we will ever see that game. If Kevin ever wants to put that on Place Your Bets on Fine Time, I will always bet against Beyond Good and Evil 2 releasing. I don't think that'll ever happen.
The only reason I think maybe they might do something with it is because that Beyond Good and Evil remaster that came out actually like has stuff in the game that references Beyond Good and Evil 2 in it, which made me think, are they actually like trying to still do something with this?
Oh man,
there is new content in that game that is directly tied to Beyond Good and Evil 2. They said it. I didn't say it.
Just don't get that remaster on Switch. It is wet butt.
I have it on my Series X, and it's perfectly fine.
It runs at 30, which is among other things. It runs at 30, which is embarrassing because the original GameCube one was 60. I have no idea what they're doing.
I don't think Ubisoft know what they're doing.
Yeah,
to be fair.
I have no idea. Anyway,
man,
Duke Nukem Forever. What a notorious. Speaking of flops, just
one of the biggest of all time. Yep,
just a big diarrhea.
I will say credit to GameStop for honoring that dude who pre-ordered it in 2001.
It was supposed to come out for like PS2 or something like that.
Well, famously in 2001, a dude had a receipt from a GameStop that he like pre-ordered the game, right? And then when the game was actually coming out, I think GameStop not only like kept that, but then Gearbox sent him like a bunch of stuff as well.
That's
cool. You can look it up.
Cool.
Yeah. That was nice of them to do that.
I'm reading about the development of Duke Nukem Forever, and one of my favorite
How
bits...
much time you have? It's like 15 years of bullshit.
I didn't read too much. My favorite bit is this one right here, where it says, so the co-founder of 3D Realms, George Broussard, a good bunch of like what kept the game in development was because, I gotta find it again, Broussard became obsessed with incorporating new technology and features from competing games and could not bear for Duke Nukem Forever to be perceived as outdated. So he's just like, he's got it in there like...
How ironic, because when the game came out, it was outdated.
Oh my god, dude.
Couldn't bear for it to be considered outdated. What a fucking baby.
There's a great, if you know Matt McMuscles is, like he did a whole video on the history of this. So Aaron, if you want to know the history, watch that video.
He also has a video on Street Fighter 3 if you really want to know the whole carnage.
I'd be curious to that because he's a fighting game guy.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he has a video on Street Fighter 3 that is really good as well.
Yeah. When's Marvel?
Marvel.
That's woolly, but whatever.
Speaking of fighting games, this isn't one of my picks, but like ever since we did that Samurai Showdown episode, Thrak, I've been digging through all the different Neo Geo Pocket Color fighting games, and Gal Fighters, holy shit, that
is a good
slept
game.
On. Yeah,
that's so a fun game. Fun. Yeah, it's no Neo Turf Masters, but it's okay.
That's true. Well, okay, I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna play that right as soon as we're done here. I'm gonna play Neo Turf Masters. God damn it, that sounds good.
Player 1, D-Shop.
Hey, boy,
the music is on the Gween. Yeah, Gween. That always got me. Yeah, you could hear that from across the arcade. I promise you, you could always hear that clip. You always do when someone's playing Neo Turf Masters.
I've never played it in an arcade, but god damn, I would love to.
Oh, I put a lot of money into that thing because I sucked at golf at that time. I guess I'm not that great at it now, but now that it's on Arcade Archives or whatever, I have a little more practice.
Oh yeah, and I have it on Switch. I have it on like my Ambernick, of course.
Gotta have
it on the only Holy Grail arcade game I ever played was I found the Simpsons arcade game, just like at a random like arcade mini golf like batting cage place, and I got like I think I got like $5 in quarters, and I was like, I am not leaving until I beat this game, and I beat it.
The best arcades
almost
in town.
all that. I did not spend all that $5 in quarters.
The best arcades in town growing up were at ours was called Family Fun Center. It had mini golf, batting cages, etc. Like you just said, go-karts and all that, and had the best arcade in town.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it was an old ass Simpsons arcade machine, but I finally got to play it, and it was a good game.
Dude, Anbernic. So they have these like these models that are designed after the Game Boy Advance SP. They just released translucent black, red, and green versions, and it's like it's eating away at me. I want that translucent green one.
How many
But-
Ambernicks do you have?
Just the one. Just the one, man.
Look at
I
his wall
swear.
back there. He has like 7 on a shelf, like just lined on a...
His wife's like, "Did you buy another Ambernick?" And you're like, "No."
She's like, please, we need Cheerios, please.
Amber Nick, and you just
I can't keep living off of this flavored nail polish.
You're just sucking away some of the pepperoni flavored.
Mom, I'm hungry.
Have some more nail polish, bitch.
I'm playing Neo Turf Masters.
Shut up and drink more nail polish. We've got it for life. But speaking of hard, wet diarrhea, the Culling 2, what a
Ooh.
fucking piece
The
of
what?
shit. The
Culling
Culling 2.
The Culling?
Culling,
Culling.
Culling 2.
I have never heard of this in my
Oh yeah,
life.
I have.
So,
I never
What
played it,
the
but I know
fuck is
about
this
it.
cover? What
Dude.
the hell is going on?
dude, you strap the fuck in. Strap on, strap in. So the Culling...
Ooh, fuck.
The Culling was like one of the first few battle royale games. Basically, it was that and PUBG, and then the Fortnite battle royale came later on. And yeah, the Culling was popular-ish. Eventually, got dominated by PUBG and Fortnite. But after a while, the developers they decided to try to like throw together a sequel as fast as they could. And, like,
Oh God.
let me see what the release date was. So the first game came out October 5th, 2017. The sequel released July 10th, 2018. So basically just a year later.
Wow.
And it was so unfinished. Like the game barely fucking functioned. Let me find my favorite part. Where is it at?
What's crazy is, Fortnite came out September 26, 2017. The Culling was October 5th, 2017. And then PUBG was December 20th.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, it somehow predated PUBG, but like came out
They
right
got
after Fortnite.
steamrolled.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I remember when the Battle Royale thing happened, the first one I heard about was PUBG.
of course,
That
me
was
too.
the first one. And then I
man.
heard about Fortnite after, because I think in 2018 is when Fortnite really took off.
Yeah. Oh boy, listen to this. So for the Culling 2, Steam peak player counts for the game on its first day were around 250 players, and within 40 hours the game dropped to just one.
Was it you?
No, it was, I wish.
Playing the Culling 2.
I remember watching my clone Moist Critical play the game. I think he
Yeah.
was like one of the 2 people online at the time.
Mhm.
And he was just running around, goofing around, and then trying to play the game. But of course, there weren't enough players for the game to start a game, so you just goof around like the little lobby area.
What's funny is when you said the one player count, that reminded me of there was an article for Babylon's Fall. Like after a while, there was just one guy playing it,
Mhm.
and I forget who it was, but somebody found them and interviewed them.
Yeah.
They're like, "Why are you still playing this game?" And they're like, "It's okay."
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of, because it
But
always
it's
I think
not
they
the
said they were
person
trying to get
playing.
the platinum. I think they were trying to get the platinum.
Of
Yeah,
course.
it always said they had one person playing. That was the joke on Fine Time, because this game came out very early in the show's history, and I played the demo and I talked about it. That's how I know how shitty it is. So it's just like, dude, if the 3 of us get online, we will like quadruple the player count if we go play Babylon's Fall right now. That was always a joke. But yeah, I did
Quadruple it.
notice that there was always one guy playing. But yeah,
Just one
Something.
dude.
it's one dude.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah,
That's
the
so
Culling 2,
great.
I completely forgot about the Culling 2. I
It's a
mean,
piece of shit.
obviously, a lot of stuff happened in that big battle royale boom, and I remember Fortnite being a thing, but they had sort of like a different. Didn't they not have the battle royale at first? Wasn't it like something else, like some sort of like PVE kind of like? I feel
think
like
that's
the
what
Battle Royale part
I
was
think
added later.
so. Yeah, I think it
For
was.
Fortnite?
It was
Yeah.
originally like Fortnite Saved the World, and it was like a survival game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
and
was
the
trying to
building
be like
shit
yeah.
had way more to it than you see.
And
in
then the Battle
Royale.
Royales when they added like the shooter elements to it, and then that's just kind of like morphed into Fortnite.
Yeah, but well, that's what the people say who like didn't understand why the game had building for a long time, is because that's what you did in the original Fortnite. So it made it like
But it worked out because it helped that game stand out from say like a PUBG.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Yep.
You know, because like the Culling, like I don't remember this game literally at all, and I think them trying to just like throw a sequel out when like the boom was happening, when really what they should have done is just work on the game that they had, maybe did like a big update to it, because then maybe it could be number 3 still.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, because listen to this, on July 18th, 8 days after the second game released, they pulled the game from storefronts, closed down the servers, refunded all purchases, and basically just like farted the original game back out as like the Culling Origins.
God.
And then just did that for a while. And then made it free to play.
That's probably the smartest thing to do, because goddamn.
So did it last longer than Concord or less?
Less.
Oh my God!
How many days did Concord last?
14
week,
2
right?
weeks. Yeah.
2 weeks.
And this lasted 18 days.
Oh,
got it by
8 days.
8 days. Oh, well, damn. Well, Concord's got to win now.
I know, right?
It beat the
It was on a game
2.
I didn't know about like a couple minutes ago.
Yep. I got another. I can do another here. I've got a couple more, but I can pick one. Okay, how about this? And this is before my time too. Okay, so that may clue you into what I'm about to talk about here.
I have a guess.
But when consoles were made, people forget this because people talk about ports and stuff. Consoles were essentially made for arcade ports. That's why the first consoles were Pong machines. It's literally what they were called. And and then Atari 2600 comes out in 1977, kind of changes the game with I know, right? And then
you were like
changes
10
the game
when that came out, right?
Yeah, I was like 10. Yeah, definitely. I'm hitting my 60th birthday right now. Yeah. It's just, but yeah, that happens. And then, of course, what's the biggest game of the day? Pac-Man. That has to be ported to 2600, right? They did, but oh boy, it wasn't good at all. It was a notoriously shitty port of Pac-Man. And this is the height of Pac-Man fever. It came out in 1982. So it's like, you'd think people would just accept anything. But they did not accept this. This was the catalyst for the video game crash in North America, was Pac-Man. It started the whole ball rolling because everyone just lost faith. It's like, well, this sucks, you know? It's just like, that's what happened. People forget that now, Thrak, but it's true.
But you know what's crazy? It's the best-selling 2600 game.
Yes. That's the thing. So many people bought it, and that's how many people it pissed off. So it's not a flop in terms of like nobody bought it. It's a flop in terms of reception. In fact, that God, Pac-Man is finally coming home. What the fuck is this shit?
like the first example of like a critical failure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, though I don't know if there were video game critics for 2600 games. There probably was.
There probably were. There's probably some zines out there that were like, doing so. Yeah, there's probably
nerds.
Some nerd
those
magazine.
That is some nerd shit. Making a zine about the 2600.
That would have been if I actually was that age back then, dude. That would have been me. I would have been all over that
for
shit.
Sure. Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. And for the video game crash, people tend to put the blame on the other game. I was thinking you're going to say E.T. Because E.T.
didn't really.
But that game was a like critical failure because like they made so many copies for it and those just didn't sell and people were refunding them, and that's when the famous landfill happened, which for years people were like, was the landfill real? And then we found out, no, it was real.
It was real. I always believed that urban legend, though. I always believed in that because it was exactly something Atari would do. And of course, it is something they
Atari
did.
Move.
The thing is, though, E.T. is not like a horrendous game. Like, it may have not been what people wanted. It's not like the worst. Obviously, you could do a lot better in Atari 2600. But like, if you play it, it's not absolutely horrendous. Like I think that's the misconception about it. It's not the absolute worst.
Well, it's like it was like considered the worst game of all time for a long time,
and that's just not true.
And just like what it was tied to and what happened to the industry, I think is why people do that. But yeah, I've played ET, and it's not a great game. It's really not. But like it's better than that like math racing game. I can't remember its name.
I played
that game sucks.
That game fucking sucks. I've played that before.
And the Atari version of Pac-Man is not good at all.
No, it's not
I've
good.
Played it. It's rough. Like, how do you fuck up Pac-Man?
It's terrible.
Pac-Man.
It's terrible. They should the sound effects and everything. Oh my god, it's awful.
But the famous story behind it is that Todd Fry, who was making the game, like he made it. I was in like a couple months or whatever, and I think he'd had like a beta. And that's what he presented to Atari. He's like, "Oh, here's like my rough idea for Pac-Man 2600, but I'll refine it." And Atari just said, "Oh no, perfect." And then he went, "What?"
They didn't care.
Whoa, holy
yeah.
shit!
So the version that we have is a beta, like the first the first unfinished game release.
Basically,
but you couldn't patch this one.
So it was the Culling too, but like a million years before. Cool.
Yeah, and it sold a zillion copies because Pac-Man. And then everyone got
Pac-Man
pissed.
was hot shit.
Pac-Man fever.
1982.
Mm-hmm.
In the pre-Mario world.
Oh yeah,
it's crazy to think of as like Pac-Man's the guy, but but
Such
he's still very popular. Like you could go up to any normie, literally any normie, and be like, "Do you know who Pac-Man is?" They'll probably go, "Yeah, I know who Pac-Man is."
Yeah, everyone will
like
know.
he like everybody knows Pac-Man. He's one of those characters that, despite him not really being the biggest thing in gaming anymore, he's just like he's ubiquitous.
Yeah, and I think it's just a good. I think it's just a good. It's just a good example of like, we grew up in a time where arcade ports were like very much a thing. Obviously, we don't have that anymore. But in the 80s and 90s, that was it, man. That was like the backbone of the industry. Whether it's Street Fighter 2, whatever came home, it was like even a huger hit on console, right? And well, not that Street Fighter 2 was bad in the arcade, but you know what I'm trying to say. With Pac-Man being such a big deal, they had to nail it, and they didn't nail it, and they did. They basically crashed the industry here. So, because consumer confidence just went through the floor, and it should have. If I were the age to have played Atari back then, I probably would have felt the same way. So it just, I think that has to be the first notorious flop in history, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it also got ports at the time to like the Intellivision, the Commodore 64, and even the 5200.
Yeah, 5200 one isn't that bad. It's not again, it's not super great, but it ain't that. So
yeah, I think the first time I ever played Pac-Man was the Game Boy version, because we had the Game Boy version, and it is
like on a Namco Museum or like
no, the Game Boy Cart. Of Pac-Man.
Oh, I was thinking the Game Boy Advance. Sorry, yeah, okay.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, that was the first time I ever played Pac-Man. And it's weird on the Game Boy.
It's weird, but it's a decent version. It's decent.
It's fine. It doesn't give you the full screen option, so it's zoomed in the whole time. But
it's interesting.
Oh,
though.
yeah.
It's a decent version.
Yeah, for sure.
So Aaron's going to play some Game Boy Pac-Man on the
Ambernick.
Ambernick. No, I'm still going to play Neo Turf Masters. Some arcade golf just sounds like that's it, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'll do another one. A bit of a slightly left field pick, but I think this is considered a flop. I think this is considered the worst selling game from this company, potentially. I could be wrong on this. And it is Mario and Luigi, Bowser's Inside Story, plus the remake for 3DS.
Mm-hmm.
I forget all the extra shit. Plus what, Bowser Jr.'s Journey.
Yeah, just say Bowser Inside Remake.
Bowser's Inside Story 3DS.
Right.
Yeah, this was one of the weirdest things to like ever come out that I could think of. Like people complaining about like PS5 remasters of games that you can already play. I mean, this is a prime example. Like, you can play Bowser's Inside Story on your 3DS. Like, why remake this? Because this was coming off of the Superstar Saga remake on 3DS, which is fine. I prefer the GBA version. I like it more.
That one made a little bit more sense, because it's just like that was bit. Like you can't play GBA games on a 3DS, so like
and they never put them on the virtual console because they were like, oh, it's too tough to do. But it's like, if you had an ambassador console, you gave them 10 of them. So what the hell are you talking about? You can't do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But this came out, and it was in that weird time in 2017, 2018, where they weren't sure if the Switch was gonna be the runaway success that it was. Like, it came out the gate doing pretty well, but people were kind of expecting the sales to teeter off, because usually with Nintendo consoles, they start strong and then they have kind of like an iffy tail. Like the N64, the GameCube, the Wii U, like they all started good, but after a while it just, and I think people were kind of expecting that with the Switch, but it was still kind of but it was doing all right, you know. And Nintendo didn't want to completely give up on the 3DS at that point, because it had only been out for a few years and people were still, you know, enjoying them and still getting new games. So it's like, why not, right? But by the time this came out, it was 2019?
Yeah, early 2019.
Yeah, by that
Holy
point,
shit,
I think
really?
we had been like, yeah, the Switch is a success. Bye-bye 3DS. Like at that point. And Nintendo never deciding to pivot this game to the Switch will be one of those kind of what if things.
They
where
really
it's
should
like,
have.
Like, I don't think it would improve the quality of the game, because I think it's not like a great remake, but putting it on Switch would be like, well, you have a version of this game to play, and maybe Alpha Dream wouldn't be fucking dead.
I cannot believe that shit still.
So stupid.
It was so
stupid.
It was such a dumb thing for Nintendo to do, and I believe, like it's like one of the worst selling Nintendo games of all time. Like it might be. Yeah, like the only thing I could think that would be comparable is like Radar Scope.
Codename Steam. Codename Steam.
Codename Steam was that didn't sell very well.
Which is a great game, by the way. I love that game, but
that
did not sell at all. Yeah,
no, it did not.
Sushi Striker. Nobody
Sushi Striker did really bad.
Yeah. So I don't know.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so weird, man.
I do remember that period, 17, 18, where like they were having their eggs in the 3DS basket still, because I remember one of their first directs when after Switch came out, they were showing Fire Emblem Warriors, and then they showed the 3DS version. I'm like, oh, they don't believe in this system yet. There's a 3DS version of Fire Emblem Warriors. Get the fuck out of here! Right?
Yeah, they did the same with.
I think they were just
Sushi Strikers as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think as they were just being cautious, because they're like, oh, for some reason the Switch doesn't hit, we can still support the 3DS, because they had to do a lot of work to get it to the decent sales that it got, but it, you know, we had to do a lot of work to get there.
That's also why Metroid Samus Returns was 3DS, because they just didn't believe in it, you know?
Yeah, and that was, like, weirdly enough, 2017 was, like, one of the better years for the 3DS.
Sure was.
Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of
Echoes.
Yeah, Samus Returns, like a lot of
Zero
stuff.
Escape.
Like, yeah. Well, for you, Aaron, Yokai Watch 2.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter Stories.
Yeah, Bony Spirits and Fleshy Souls.
Like, there was a lot of...
A
lot of stuff came out on the 3DS in 2017. Stuff that was probably like already in the works. And it had like a pretty solid fucking year. But by 2018 is when people were just like, yeah, the Switch is where it's at. Like, we're getting out of here.
They're over it. Yeah.
Like that's when the Dragon Quest 8 3DS port came out. It was in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if that thing was on Switch.
Oh, please. I'd play that game for 100 hours again. Oh my God.
I'd put another 50 hours into it. I think I put 50 hours into it. Yeah.
I fucking... Off topic, I hope that they someday finally remake Dragon Quest 9 and just take out the bottom screen shit. You don't need the bottom screen. Mm-hmm. There's literally no need for it. Just put a minimap on the screen. Like,
well, I do know that Level 5 and Square, they had a bit of a falling out after 9 because they made 8 and 9.
Yeah.
But from what I know, in the last couple years, they have repaired that. So, and people have asked them about like wanting to do Dragon Quest 9, and they're a bit like, they don't say no, but they don't say yes either.
Yeah.
So, but I know that Yuji Horii has said that they're not going to do any remakes until 12 is out. Like their main thing is getting 12 out before they remake another one, even though, I mean, they're doing 3, but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's not like when they ask Harada about Soul Calibur, and he's like, ask me again in 10 years. Where it's like, you have no shot right now.
Yeah, I think for Soul Calibur, I think he said that it's hard to vouch for that when like they already have Tekken and Tekken's doing really well. So it's like, why would we take resources from Tekken to make Soul Calibur?
And the last two Soul Caliburs just did not do well at retail,
which is a shame. Yeah. 5 is not great. I think 6 is a little better.
But people were over it. But the fact that they had their eggs. Yeah, remember what was it? WarioWare Gold. Remember that one? Yeah,
that was good.
They had a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
What was it one you mentioned, Aaron? What was it? Not Metopia. Is Metopia the one where you go on an adventure with like 4 Miis and it's like an RPG?
Yep.
Yeah, I love that.
Metopia.
Yeah, that came to Switch. I love that game.
Yeah, I mean that's when like Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon came out as well. That's when the Superstar Saga remake came out. Like there was a lot of like banging stuff that came out on the 3DS in 2017. But as we said, by like 2018, 2019, they had moved on. Like the Switch was the place to be. It was the new hot shit. There was no need to have your 3DS anymore. I mean, there were still games coming out for it. I think that's when Radiant Historia came out. The Luigi's Mansion remake.
Yeah.
On 3DS, why didn't they put that on Switch?
Because it was originally in 3D, and they wanted to do a 3D version finally.
Yeah, there's quite a few games from the 3DS in this era that people are like, they really should have put that on Switch. And I have a feeling Nintendo regrets
like Kirby's
not putting
Extra
them on
Epic
Switch.
Yarn.
What the hell? I would have definitely
or even like
bought
that Yoshi's, or even like Yoshi and Poochie's Woolly World.
Yeah, and I played that on 3DS, and that I loved it. But like, I would have definitely bought that on Switch.
Yeah.
I've got three little game-a-ronies that I'm just going to toss out for like a lightning round.
And I have one little tiny one too.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's do it.
How about Gollum? Holy shit.
Oh my god.
The
wow.
PS2 ass graphics and fucking
my God.
That's an insult to the PS2.
Eyes like this big. That's true, yeah. It's
games that gave us like Kingdom Hearts 2 and Rogue Galaxy, like beautiful games.
I legit think like
That's
Xbox game, like Blinks the Time Sweeper or whatever looks better than Gollum. I legit think so.
Yeah, Blinks is kind of weirdly ugly.
Yeah, but I think that looks better. Gollum, oh my god, dude. Kevin played a little bit of Gollum, and he talked about it on Fine Time. It was
I think I listened to that episode.
Yeah, it was as miserable as you might think.
There was a lot of content creators got some fucking views out of that game. So it did some good.
Ooh, and then I forget the full subtitle for it, but that fucking Suicide Squad game.
Ooh, Kill the Justice League.
Yeah, they showed that one trailer for it, and it was like Sunset Overdrive, but you would just like glide through the air and like jump on rooftops and glide and all that like goofy like looter shooter shit. But now it's like it's still a looter shooter live service bullshit thing, but it's like a kind of almost okay.
It was another case of a game trying to jump on a bandwagon that by the time the game was done, like the bandwagon was gone.
Yeah.
And games take too long to make to bandwagon now. You can't do that anymore. So it's like, well, as a continuing theme of this podcast, I got into the closed beta for Suicide Squad. So I have actually played the sort of pre-release version, I guess, like a couple months before it came out. And I got to give the code to like 3 other people. So I did, and the 4 of us ganged up and played. I was the shark guy or whatever, and like the movement options are fun. You can jump really high or like do this like fun gun stuff, but it was just like, it's like you said, we play games like that. We played The Division 2. We play like other looter shooters and stuff. We love Borderlands, right? So we're kind of into that stuff. Even for us, Suicide Squad was like, I don't know, it's fine, but not really hitting. And I guess it didn't hit for anybody else either.
Yeah, like if it came out like 3 or 4 years prior, it probably would have done better.
Oh my god, yeah. Yep.
Because think about it, like the game that Rocksteady did before this, like the big one was Arkham Knight, which was 2015.
Yeah.
And then they started working on this right after. I mean, there was that Arkham VR game.
Damn.
But yeah,
Arkham Knight is almost 10 years old.
I cannot believe that shit.
And that game still looks incredible.
It's one of the best looking games of all time. I don't even care about the Arkham series, and that game looks insane. Yeah.
Yeah. And then with this game's like flop, ever since then, people are just like, is Rocksteady dead? Like, is Warner Brothers going to kill them? And from all I know is that I guess they're still supporting Suicide Squad, at least for a year. I feel like they probably have to. I guess Rocksteady's helping out on I guess they're doing like a new version of Hogwarts Legacy or something. So they're helping out on that, which isn't a good sign. And then, but the rumor came out, I think it was like a couple days ago, or like yesterday or whatever, that they apparently are working on a new like Batman game. So
Cool.
I it's one of those that like, I mean, hopefully Rocksteady isn't completely dead, because I think, again, the failure of this game is not on them. They were just trying to make a game that Warner Brothers told them to make. And so hopefully they get another chance to make a really good single player game like they did with the Arkham games. Or, I mean, they could pivot and do like, I don't know, Superman or something. Like, if anybody could make a good Superman game, I think Rocksteady could pull it off.
It'll be the first time ever. I would love that to happen, but
there's been some okay ones. But,
there has been. There hasn't never been a great one.
True. But like with a lot of the main guys from Rocksteady leaving, and that they formed a new studio and they're working on a new game, who knows? Like, the future of Rocksteady is not in a good spot because of that game.
Yeah.
And it worries me.
My last one is Anthem. Oh shit!
I'm told if you play Anthem now, it's pretty fucking good.
You guys know what I'm about to say, right?
What are you gonna say?
I played the beta version of Anthem when they had a free beta weekend about a month before it came out, because I was interested. Look, I played Destiny for years, so of course I was interested. And me and Vin played it.
Anthem looks cool as hell.
Yeah, it looked cool, and we were like, I guess it's okay. We'll see what happens when it comes out. And then it came out and it was a disaster. And then So, yep, I played that one too.
Yeah. Apparently it's still being supported, I think, or at least it's still on Game Pass.
You can still play it.
You can still play. And I'm told if you play it now, it's a lot better because they just give you a bunch of free shit. So you could just like have some actual fun with the game, which I've yet to do. I actually want to do that at some point.
It's totally it's a totally okay game. It's fine. The environments are nice.
Fine. Yeah, I'm sure it's fine.
There's one thing I wanted to mention real quick, just one real quick one, because this is like, I've never been one to care about how much a game sells, because whatever. I mean, obviously you want games you like to do well, right? But I remember the first time I ever got sort of punched in the gut by seeing like sales numbers when something came out, and that was Killer 7. I loved that game. It's one of my favorite games of all time. I loved that game so much. So I was like, I remember when like there's an IGN article, ooh, here's the sales for the month. I wonder how Killer 7 did. Oh, oh no. And I just couldn't believe that not everyone liked this super dark, very bizarre, very niche thing that I did, right? And I guess I should have, when you're 23, you don't think, oh, everyone just must like the same thing I did. I think it's cool. It must be cool, right? Obviously, it's not how the world works. So I just remember being like, oh, no, nobody likes this game at all. And I remember being kind of sad about it, I wanted everyone to like it, but I guess it's not for everyone to like.
Like, I remember seeing that game at the rental store when it came out, and it looked really, really intriguing, but it was never a game that I grabbed, unfortunately.
When it gets
I regret
$5
not
on
giving
Steam
it a
or
shot.
whatever, get it again. Definitely get it. For
yeah,
sure.
it's definitely a game I need to actually sit down and try.
Yeah.
And it's like Suda is just he's such a weird guy, that like it takes like a very specific idea for a game of his to like really break through, because a bunch of games that he did before, like Killer 7, even some games after, like it wasn't really until No More Heroes when people learned who Suda was. Because No More Heroes was pushed pretty hard in the Wii days.
Oh, yeah, because Nintendo marketed the shit out of it, yeah.
They marketed the shit out of it. It was published by Ubisoft at the start, which is crazy. And it was being like, oh, it's like an open world game on the Wii. And it's like, that's not really what makes it good, though.
It's not really what it is. Me and Aaron actually talked about that, because Ubisoft published Grandia 2 on Dreamcast here. And it's like, hey, remember when Ubisoft used to publish stuff from Japan? Remember that?
It's very weird, yeah. So,
yeah.
And then that Lollipop Chainsaw remaster happened, and
I'll be waiting for that to come to PlayStation Essentials or whatever. I don't know.
From what I've been told, if you have an original 360 PS3 copy, just play that.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
Don't even bother.
Yeah.
But Suda was not involved in that, and I kind of get why.
I did not have good vibes about that from the jump. So
when I heard Suda and James Gunn weren't involved, I'm like, there's no point in this.
Yeah, don't bother.
No point at all. So yeah, what other flops do we have?
That's it for me, man.
That's all I got.
Okay, well, I could knock off a couple ones. Let's see. We have well, we talked about Beyond Good and Evil. That famously did not do well commercially, but it's become a cult classic. games like Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Oh yeah.
You know, obviously Nintendo didn't want it to sell, so it didn't.
Really? I didn't know that did badly.
It didn't sell very well, no.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Brutal Legends. That's a game I remember that was like a weird one that didn't sell, but to be fair, that game was kind of a bait and switch.
Yeah.
Which was not Tim Schafer's fault. Like, he wanted to tell people, but EA was like preventing him from telling people what the game really was. But you know, that's a whole thing.
Yeah, that felt like a bait and switch from the marketing.
Yeah, which is a shame. Because
Yeah.
that game is really cool. I like it. Daikatana.
Oh my god.
Now that's a flop right there.
Yep.
Oh yeah, it's gonna make you his bitch.
Daikatana.
I've never played it. I would like to play that sometime.
It's not a good game.
Oh, I'm sure. I just need to see it in 64 and PC. I want to see it.
Yeah. What's crazy is the best version of that game is the. Oh no, did that ever come out? Oh yeah, there was the Game Boy Color version.
Mm-hmm. I remember that existing.
That's the best version of it because it's a Zelda clone.
Yeah, I think Mike talked about that on the handheld ports episode. I'm pretty sure
he did.
talked about that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man, it all comes back
ports.
around. Yeah, and then there's a bunch of Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
Oh Lord, that is I can't believe I didn't think of that myself. My brain went to Street Fighter 3, but like, God
that
damn.
was a that was a dumpster fire. I remember when that came out.
Absolute
Jesus
dumpster
Christ.
fire. Oh my God.
Like Skylanders flopped really hard because that was a good idea that just got milked super hard, super quick.
I feel like Aaron must have been a Skylanders person.
Were you a Skylanders person, Aaron?
No,
Really?
never.
Really? I don't know. For some reason, I would peg you for a Skyland being into that. I don't know why.
And what's crazy
I collect
is
amiibos, but not Skylanders. They're fucking worthless now, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're worth like 2 cents.
Yeah, and what's crazy is like when the Microsoft acquisition happened, people were trying to say, "Oh, maybe they'll bring back Skylanders." I'm like, "What are you fucking people saying? Like,
They're
leave
not
that
bringing
shit to die."
Yeah,
No.
we don't need that to come back.
Yeah, they're never bringing that back. Let's see. Outside of that, I mean, there was a bunch of failed consoles, but you know, that could be its own episode entirely.
Ooh, yeah, that might be a good one.
One of which I host a podcast about.
Oh, another one of which I wrote a pretty good blog about.
Yeah.
Go
But
check out our stuff.
But yeah, there's quite a few gaming flops out there. There's plenty more we didn't even talk about. So
yeah, who knows? We might have to do a part 2 sometime. Listeners, that's it. That's all of our picks for now. One more time, boys. Where can people find you and your shows and all that great stuff?
Go to Find Time Podcast on Twitter or find us on Blue Sky, or just generally search Find Time in your podcatcher. You will get us. And then in all of our descriptions of our podcast, our social media is there.
Hell yeah. What about you, Thrak?
you could find me if you want to direct contact me. You can find me on Twitter. Yeah, I'm still there at
Here's my
at
phone number.
Thrak94. Text me anytime.
It's not no. But I'm there at Thrak94, Twitch and YouTube. I'm also at Thrak94 where I do the streams. If you want to find the 3DO experience, just type in the 3DO experience wherever you get your podcasts, and we'll be right there. We're the only active 3DO podcast on the planet, so
yeah,
I'm proud to hold that title.
You might, if you type in Fine Time, you might get a Fine Time for Healing. That is not us. That is some hippy dippy show. That is not us.
Ooh.
So
you're not a hippie? You could have fooled me.
I know, right? Hippie beard. Yeah.
You could probably get Wine Time if you misspell it. Wine Time is another one.
Yeah, Wine Time.
About it.
There's also a show called Crime Time with a Fine Dime, or for some reason. I don't know why that comes up sometimes.
What the fuck?
Now that's a show title.
That's about. But yeah, a Fine Time for Healing is still active. Apparently, they've been around for since 2011. So shout out to Fine Time for
Holy
Healing.
Shit! Shout out to them, man.
Yeah.
Additionally,
Crime Time with a Fine Dime is a true crime podcast hosted by your favorite Sophista Ratchet Dime, Charlie J.
Ratchet? Oh my god!
What the fuck?
Sophista Ratchet Dime, Charlie J.
Fine Dime featuring Fine Time.
Yeah, featuring Fine Time.
Holy crap! Though he hasn't made an episode since January 30th of 2023.
Okay,
he
so I guess
overdosed
he's
on meth. He's dead.
guess he's over it.
R.I.P.
But yeah, but otherwise you can go to superpodnetwork.com/findtime or superpodnetwork.com/3DO experience. They're all there. superpodnetwork.com/superpodsaga. We're there to check out all that stuff. Listeners, I love you. More kisses. I'm not going to do the smooch thing again because my mouth is very dry from talking so much. Everybody say bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Mwah, 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 mwah.